Hello, everybody. Welcome along to your daily now from today, Daily Rangers News Show. My name's Martin, I'm your host, and my co-host today is none other than, do you know who he is, Connor? Connor, how are you?
All good, yes. A bit gutted that I missed the festivities of last night, of course. Scotland finally getting to a World Cup, and I'm just delighted with that. Absolutely delighted with that. And I will say that having watched back the highlights and stuff for that, the goals were unbelievable. And I think Liam McLeod has actually had his best commentary moment of his career by a country mile last night.
Yeah.
It was just phenomenal. So, yeah, a bit gutted I missed that because I was out playing football. But nonetheless, still a happy camper.
Oh, 100%. 100%. And we can also now welcome in the greatest football coach that's never actually made it. It's Kenny. Kenny, how are you?
I don't know about all that, but I hope there's nobody watching at a day. Coach's parents going, is there a phone in?
I know I'm under contract. I can't get my boy at the team. I know. Right, look, this is obviously a Rangers show. It's a Rangers news show. But Kenny, we can't start this show, I don't think, without mentioning last night. A phenomenal night for Scotland. A phenomenal night for Scotland fans, the players, the coaching staff. Normally, these nights turn the opposite way for us.
Aye.
But from start to finish, even with the early goal, the bicycle kick for Scott McTominay, Denmark pretty much then taking over, getting back into the game, getting a man sent off, Scotland go ahead, Denmark pull it back because of course it's Scotland, so Denmark have to pull it back, and then the last 3 or 4 minutes. You couldn't have wrote that last night, could you?
I mean, a few minutes in and the guy's hitting a bicycle kick. I think he was up the height of the guy's chest, and I'm going, right, somebody pinch me here. This isn't Scotland. A, we don't know what a bicycle kick is in Scotland. We can't spell it. And B, have we put the bed a bit early and poked the bear? And I was feared that that's what we've done. But aye, boys, we're all Scottish. You're Scottish first. I don't know what way you think it, but it doesn't matter about how fans and that didn't like us and people standing up back in the day, standing up if you hate Rangers and all that. See, at the end of the day, I'm still Scottish. I talk Scottish. My ways are Scottish. You know what I mean? It's a phenomenal achievement as a Scotsman, and an even better achievement as a Rangers fan that he get lobbed at the end. Sorry, but it was.
Why does everybody wait until I'm taking a drink? I swear people do. I swear people do it on purpose. Connor, what does this mean for Scottish football?
I think it's a shot in the arm that it desperately needed, because in recent times it's not been great at all. I mean, particularly in the European stage, we've been hopeless. They've been hopeless. Don't let them kid you on anything other than that. They might have won one game at home against Sturm Graz, but apart from that, they've been hopeless. Aberdeen have been Aberdeen. So we needed something to give us a boost and galvanise a bit and, try and help actually solidify that Scottish football does produce some talent. And the likes of McTominay and stuff like that, I just wonder how many Man United fans are solely regretting chasing that man for their club because he's tearing it up in Italy. And that goal last night was, I mean, Air Jordan, eat your heart out. That was unbelievable to get that hang time. And then I tell you, that is 3 of the best goals Scotland have ever scored, and they all happened in the one match. They are unreal, those goals. I mean, even Tierney for a right back, as he was playing as obviously natural left back, to have the composure instead of just blasting that as you would expect, to actually ping that and just place it round the Kasper Schmeichel was great. I wonder how much the fact that he obviously plays with Schmeichel at club level maybe helped make his decision for him. Maybe he recognised actually that's a weak spot for him. I've done this to him in training before. We'll have it tonight and all. And then McLean, what a way to end it. Everybody in the dugout ends just going, come on, ref, blow the whistle. Why are we in the 8th minute? There was only 6 added on. And McLean hits it. You're going, oh my God, he's fucking done it. Yeah, incredible. As I say, it's a boost. It's definitely a boost. And I'm delighted, whatever way people think it. And I get people's reservations with it. There was a lot of conversation in our WhatsApp last night about it as well. The fact is, some people don't like to partake in it. Some people don't feel like they're welcome in it. I don't get that impression. But I am delighted for the young kids, this young generation who are going to see Scotland in a World Cup, because I didn't get the chance to see that when I was growing up. And by the way, there was a very good Scotland team when I was growing up. It wasn't like the mid-2000s in particular. Walter Smith and Alec McLeish was a pretty good Scotland side. James McFadden in the Parc de France and all that, you know what I mean? But they just couldn't get out of that line. So seeing it now is remarkable, and it'll be what an occasion it'll be next summer. It really will.
Well, let's take a look then. We might as well, while we're reminiscing a wee bit. We can come back to the conversation about Scotland and the fans and etc. in a wee minute. But let's take a look at that third goal last night that effectively secured Scotland's place in the World Cup.
Now it's back with McLean just inside the Danish half. Back in towards the edge of the penalty area. Against a Danish head that gets to it. Not entirely clear. Kieran Tierney! Oh! Goal! Kieran Tierney!
It's for me, Kenny, right? And again, putting aside all the nonsense that goes with the Old Firm, because, see, if we're being honest, see, last night, it's got nothing to do with Rangers, it's got nothing to do with Celtic, right? It shouldn't be. The Old Firm isn't the be-all and end-all in the whole of Scotland, right? I've got a brother who plays football, and all right, he plays with a team up north that many people might associate with Rangers, but at the end of the day, they're their own team. So Scottish football isn't just Rangers and Celtic. Scottish football is Scottish football. There's many hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of supporters out there who couldn't give a toss about Rangers or Celtic. And that goal last night for Kieran Tierney, if you didn't celebrate that as somebody who supports the national team because of what team he plays for, there's something wrong with you.
No, you better believe it. I know a couple of wee comments, tongue-in-cheek, I think, just saying, no, it's no Rangers, bye-bye, but it's your national team, man. It's like watching England all the time, qualifying and coaching their groups and getting through and all that, and we're sitting there going, this is ridiculous. And I've got 2 boys, and for them to experience what they experienced last night is a big part of my life. For having national flags in their horn, jumping about the room, going crazy. And you're right, it didn't matter who scored it, but it was meant to be anyway, because you've got a left back playing right back who's in the right position where the ball comes out to the right on his left. That thing's no coincidental for me. It was all meant to be. And I think Lawrence Shankland was very vocal when you saw him when he scored the Fox in the box goal, where he started shouting at the players, and luckily the camera had spanned to him at the time he'd started speaking, and he was shouting F and passed the ball round him.
Mm-hmm.
And he was trying to say, listen, we've got an extra man, and I was screaming at the TV, but I think Lawrence brings a lot more to the game than he does just scoring goals, because I'm sure he passed down to the wing. I don't know if it was Tierney or it was Hickey, but he got poleaxed, and the referee was letting the game play alarmingly well with hundreds of charges, right? But instead of standing there, he must have been sitting on that bench watching this ref giving nothing. So as soon as he was poleaxed, Shankland chased his own ball down to the right wing and placed the ball. And I thought, wee things like that win you games. And I'm over the moon. I'm happy. I'm proud. It's nice to, I mean, in our house, I don't know how all yous got on, but when there's a World Cup, we always pick a team that we want to support. And we carry that on and we watch the games. But to have your own team, your own country at that World Cup is not only surreal, but I'm a very proud man. Listen, it might be a Rangers podcast, but it's very, very well worth mentioning. We're a Scottish club and a Scottish league in Scotland. So,
yeah. And listen, Kenny, I'll be honest, mate, my not love, but my attachment to the Scottish team since probably 2012, in the very early stages of 2012, it died off. Right, because my focus was always Rangers then, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're down the bottom leagues. we nearly lost our football club. That's my attention. That's my focus. And then as we came back up through the leagues and we got back into the top league, I never really, my love and excitement for Scotland never really ignited after that, right? It never really came back. I always want Scotland to win, but I never had that same. I mean, I remember when James McFadden scored against France in Paris.
So
I
good.
cried. I was greeting after that game, right? I was actually greeting after that game. I remember the Italy game when Italy done us out a place with diving, and I was absolutely raging. And I had my love for Scotland. I mean, it was Rangers here, and it was Scotland was right here. They were nearly on a level pegging as much as I loved my country and I loved my club. After 2012, that dies down. My focus is Rangers, and I never have that emotion that if Scotland are playing, I need to stop what I'm doing and watch them. Whereas if Rangers are playing, I need to stop what I'm doing and watch them. Hopefully, though, Connor, with Scotland getting to a World Cup with players like Kenny McLean, Lawrence Shankland, John Souttar, that Rangers connection, hopefully that brings more Rangers supporters back in it, and obviously with Scotland doing well.
Absolutely, of course. That's the hope. And the fact is, listen, I made this point last night. As far as I'm concerned, right, we're all Scottish. We're born and bred in this country, right? And for all its, faults that it's got, and for all that there is massive divisions and toxicity, and there is elements of the Scotland fan base and of the Tartan Army that do things that you absolutely do not agree with, things like booing national anthems and stuff, which is a silly thing to do, in my opinion. But by the way, it's not just us that do that. The English fans do that quite regularly as well. It's stupidity, right? I don't think that should put anybody off wanting to support their country. I find that, because think about it, you're like me, Martin, and I don't know if Kenny's the same. I know you're into your rugby, right? And I like my rugby as well, right? You don't get anywhere near that kind of nonsense when it comes to following Scottish rugby. Anybody who follows Scottish rugby, it's all about Scotland. The passion is there for everybody, regardless of whatever rugby. It's not like you get Glasgow and Edinburgh fans, having this nonsense tussle over the national team. And to me, I think
it's not just. By the way, what I will state is though, Connor, right? And the way that this conversation's going and it's been framed as if it's all Rangers supporters' fault. It's most certainly not.
Oh no, 100%. It's not. It's not. But what doesn't help? There's a comment there from Scott Kearney saying, we're British. We don't get Scottish passports. Why does one thing have to be mutually exclusive to the other? Yes, we're British, but we're Scottish. What part of Britain were you born in? You were born in Scotland, so you're Scottish.
Well, but you can be
I don't care what anybody says. Just because I'm a Rangers fan, I won't let anybody label me in a box that I should be a certain way or do a certain thing.
You can absolutely be proud to be both.
Yeah.
Of course, and that's what I'm saying. I am proud to be British. I'm proud to be Scottish. But I will tell you one thing right now. Yes, I'm British and I'm proud to be British, but my Scottishness comes first. And I'll tell you how I can prove that. Because see, if England are playing Sunday, I'm desperate for them to get beat.
To be fair, yeah, I want England to get beat as well.
I want England to get beat. I want England to lose the Ashes. I want them to lose in rugby. I want them to lose whatever, right? And it's not about hating England, because I don't hate the country of England. I just don't like the whole sport and media and everything, but I don't like the senses of entitlement and stuff that.
But Connor, I want
when it comes to like Wales and the rest of it.
I want Wales and Northern Ireland to win.
Well, again, I like seeing Northern Ireland do well, but let me be honest with you. It doesn't, if Scotland had failed to win last night, right, and didn't qualify in the playoffs, I'd have been pissed off. I'd have been raging, right, even though we'd have still been in the playoffs. If that had been Northern Ireland last night, I'd have been delighted that they qualified. Probably wouldn't have been as raging had they not. That, which is nothing to do with the fact, obviously, I like to see Northern Ireland do well, but I'm not Northern Irish. So, and I think as well, when you try and, I think sometimes doing that is you try to step up. It's like Celtic fans who are born in fucking Springburn, but claim they're supporting the Republic of Ireland. I think personally, when you do that, you're stepping in somebody else's joy because you're no Irish. You know what I mean? But and we're no Northern Irish, as much as we can absolutely like to see them do well.
Oh, we're British as part of it. So,
aye, absolutely.
Like I say, I don't support Northern Ireland. I don't support Wales. I don't support England. And because of the way that I was brought up, and you heard all the stuff about 66, you just love to see England get beat, and it's a rival to Scotland. But I like to see Wales and Northern Ireland do well. Right, let's move on for the Scotland chat. But just before we do, should we watch Kenny McLean's goal? Is it worth a watch, Connor?
I think so. 100%.
Right, well, let's give it a wee watch then. Now, as far as commentary goes, actually, Kenny, we'll just finish up on this. It's a quality bit of commentary.
He obviously, I don't know, obviously the camera hadn't spanned to let us see how far Schmeichel was out. So he's shouting shoot, and I'm saying, how? Where's the keeper? Do you know what I mean? Somebody will bloody shooting, but if he's in his goal, that's a bit silly. And then by the time it spanned out, you could see him plugging away, watching for it coming out of his head, and I'm thinking, oh God, he's in trouble here. And bang, absolutely brilliant. Honestly, maybe he heard Big Tomo shouting. I don't know.
Maybe he did. Maybe he did. No, it was a quality bit of commentary. Now, let's move on to the Rangers side of things now, Connor. Souttar injured in the warm-up. Cornelius had to be taken off injured with Canada, which, if we weren't already in a defensive sort of crisis, which we've been speaking about now since before the international break, we certainly are now.
Well, yes, it's not ideal, is it? Obviously, last night was the, sort of picking up an injury in the warm-up before the Scotland game. You hope that's nothing too serious, and you're hoping that maybe there was a precautionary measure taken as well, that, he couldn't play last night, but actually, it's not going to be long-term kind of issue. And then obviously Cornelius this morning, it creates a massive problem. Giga gives me the fear when he's on a football park. He just does, and I'm looking going, who now goes in beside him? Now, what I would say is it opens the door for Fernandes, it opens the door for Ciala potentially, depending on how Danny Rule looks at it. I can't make saying about Dujon Sterling. I said Raheem Sterling there. Dujon Sterling being back, which, by the way, I've been hoping for that man to be back for so long, because he's such a utility player, and he's the kind of guy you want in the squad when things aren't going well right now. He can help out back there. So maybe him. But I certainly think you've got to say these guys need to take their chance. Now, there is a school of thought that says put Tavernier centre back alongside Giga and have Makoma and Aarons as your wing backs. He could absolutely do that. I don't think we should kid ourselves on like that isn't something he'll be thinking about, because Tav has actually done okay when he's had to come in to centre back, principally because he doesn't need to haul his old legs up and down a wing for 90 minutes. You know what I mean? He can focus in his area. So it's a concern. Definitely a concern. But listen, and I don't mean to sound harsh on him, but actually I'm more gutted about Cornelius than I am Souttar. Because Souttar for me just hasn't been good enough this season.
100%. Yeah, I have to agree. The issue being, Kenny, is if we're down to just Giga, and listen, we don't know the seriousness of the Souttar and Cornelius injuries, right? It could be that they might just miss Livingston, one of them might be back, or they could be out for an extended period of time. We don't know the actual length of the injuries. Cornelius has looked bad, and apparently it's been an injury that he's actually had for a while, and he's just played through it. So the fact that he was playing in a friendly for Canada infuriates me, right? John Souttar, over the years, has had his injury issues. What it does do, though, Kenny, is it leaves us very, very threadbare at the back. You've got Fernandes, who's barely played. You've got Giga, who's looked like a terrified mouse in these Rangers games. And you've got Ciala, who hasn't kicked a ball since, Kilmarnock?
We've not really seen him play alongside anybody different, though. I'm going to give Giga a little bit of He's always been with Souttar, which is, he's well off at Souttar. I can't be hypocritical either, because I lost the plot when Souttar decided to take injections or whatever he did to play for Scotland through an injury, and then went for his injury operation when the Rangers League was starting. And I was like, the hell are you doing? So Cornelius gone and playing in a friendly. For me, the club or that manager of that national team should be saying, listen, mate, you're not really needed. Or whatever else, especially if he knew he was playing through a niggling injury. So I'm glad Sterling's back, as Connor was adverting to there. The guy can play anywhere, so it'd be nice to see him coming in there. What we don't want to do is start this finding positions for players, e.g. Tav getting into centre-back, playing Aaron's out in the right, and all this nonsense. I think you've got to play people where they're maybe more comfortable, but I have no idea what's going on with this Nisiala, and I have no idea what's going on with Fernandes.
Also, Kenny, you mentioned Sterling. What I don't want to do is I don't want Rangers to rush him back and then play him in more games than what he should play. Because what's happened with Sterling is played really well, got injured for a sustained period of time, brought back into the team, overplayed, injured. Comes back from a long injury,
playing out of position, you're going to run the risk of injuring him, aren't you? You're going to, if you're putting him back into where he's specifically meant to go, he'd probably bed in slower and easier. But playing him out of position when he's just coming back for a long-term injury, I think is maybe a mistake. But we've never heard any feedback for the club or even Danny Rule or whoever to tell us what's going on with the training ground in regards to Fernandes and Nisiala. It would be nice to hear, because as you were correctly saying, we're in trouble here at the back. And we really need to be playing players who are meant to be centre-backs or right centre-backs or left centre-backs or whatever, and maybe not utilising the space and saying, but he can play out there. I don't think, especially with Sterling, as you were correctly saying about injury scenarios, I don't know how many seasons we're going to say we get up to the business end, kind of Christmas and beyond, and the next minute our injuries cause us some sort of trouble when we're just hitting a wee bit of form. I think Clement found that out a cracker. We were sitting top of the league and a couple of injuries next minute. We ended up in a bad way. So, yep, I agree with you. I think I would like to hear from somebody at the club to let us know if that's going to be something they're going to try and experiment with Fernandes and Nisiala, or is it going to be Sterling pushed in there? Interesting to hear what they're going to say about this, boys, definitely.
The other issue you've got, Connor, as well, is that it's not just centre-back this affects. Cornelius is by default our backup left back. So that's putting even more pressure on Magoma.
It absolutely does, aye. I mean, again, obviously, it's hard to know how long he'll be out for. You're hoping it's only the one game, and then Magoma can, not have to worry about having to be in a sustained run. Sterling can play at left back, so if he does get fit enough to come back before Cornelius, then you would absolutely look to put him in there if you had to. But I think it does add pressure. I mean, look, right now, the defence is on its arse anyway, regardless of these injuries, and we've kind of known it's a problem. So what you're looking for, realistically, right, let's be honest here, Livingston at home should not pose us too many difficulties. Emphasis on should not, because you never know with this Rangers team, but we should be able to deal with them okay with a cobbled together backline held together by ticker tape if needs be. And then you're looking at the following games. I'm looking at the European games coming up thinking, well, I don't want us, going into games against the likes of Braga and all that in Porto without, our two main defenders at the moment available to us for selection, because regardless of the fact the European campaign's probably done and dusted, I mean, there's 4 games. You technically we can still qualify, but we won't. All we want to do, at least, is win a couple of games. Let's no finish bottom of the fucking table with 0 points if we can avoid it. And so there's that, and then of course, depending again, we don't know how long they're out. Hopefully, it's not that long term, and you're fine. Worst case scenario, you don't want to go to Parkhead in January if there's still, if they turn out to be more major injuries that take them out for 5 or 6 weeks. Because that's what it would need to be. It doesn't need to be a months and months thing. If it's a a 4, 5 or 6 weeks thing, then that does put that game in jeopardy for them. So here's hoping, absolutely, that we can get the problem resolved before then. I think Souttar sounds like his isn't too bad, because from what I've heard, there was images of him in the changing room and that celebrating with the lads. So, it doesn't look like he's had to go to the hospital or anything like that. So that's always a good sign to start with.
Very much so. But although adrenaline can take over, kind of in these moments, I suppose. Channel member, channel sponsor, which we'll be bringing to you shortly, Mr. Andrew. Thank you very much, Andrew. Has gifted 5 Rangers Rabble Podcast memberships. And of course, if you want to pick up your membership now to get access, I mean, for $1.99 a month, you can get access to at least 8 extra shows per week, including a morning phone-in show, Monday, Tuesday, and Friday night shows. You've got Random Rabbles, you've got Sunday Supplements, you've got the EPL show, you've got, I mean, what else? You've got the wrestling, the extreme gaming. There's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of stuff available on the Rabble network, and most of it's available for as little as £1.99 a month. You're helping to support independent Rangers media at the same time. So thank you very much, Andrew, for dishing out those Rangers Rabble Podcast memberships. Just to finish up the news show, Kenny, we can't really go without discussing former boss Philippe Clement is now the head coach of Norwich. And I don't know about you, mate, but I wish him absolutely nothing but the best.
Aye, at the end of the day, wrong man, wrong time, wrong place. That's what Rangers' career was. I feel heart sorry for him, because he did have something about him, but I think he was just running out of things to say. And so I wish him all the best. I liked his Robbie Keane nonsense butter, but he's heard about this time, and he's heard about this team for a long while. And on this, I was like, you've not heard of Norwich for a long time. Don't give any of your nonsense. But that was the typical Philip, wasn't it? Listen, there's only one way you can go with Norwich City, and it's got to be up the way, because they're not exactly setting the heather in fire. So wish him all the best, mate.
Good appointment for Norwich, Connor?
Could be, yes. I think it's a more sensible appointment. I think they've decided to take the tactic of let's try and bring in a more experienced, more cultured manager, rather than, because the recent appointments they've made have all been fairly young coaches, which is understandable, by the way. There's nothing inherently wrong with that, but I think they've obviously changed tactic a wee bit there. We come on, but like Kenny says, absolutely.
And a manager, Connor, who's won things.
Yeah, well, which he has. He's won things in Belgium, and he did win a cup here as well. You can't, for all lower issues, you can't take away the fact that he did win silverware here. He's got a winner's medal to his name, not the league, admittedly, but it was, and he's certainly, I think, could do a job for them if they give him the right back and he gets the right players. If he wants Kieran Dowell, no bother. He can take him.
Jinky would do a sell well and take Matondo as well.
Lovely. Aye, happy days. I thought you were going to mention our other former boss as well, because I think we should say a congratulations and a shout out to Big Dick Advocaat, qualifying for World Cup with Curacao, which is 78 years old. Will make him the oldest manager in World Cup history. Incredible stuff.
Population, by the way, of just over 150,000. Went away to Jamaica last night. I watched the game, got a 0-0 draw, and qualified for the World Cup. Phenomenal.
Yeah, incredible. And down there in the Caribbean, it can be quite even. There's a lot of teams have qualified. Haiti are there, which is odd.
Cape Verde.
But what do you know? What's helped them this year as well to a degree is, particularly in the CONCACAF, because the USA and Canada and Mexico already were qualified. That opened the door, because obviously normally they're the big hitters in the CONCACAF. They're usually the ones you'd expect. So fair play, and hopefully they make the most of it. I would like us to draw them, but I just know if Dick Advocaat plays us and beats us, that would just be talk about
Let
them insulting your wins.
Let me tell you something, Connor. Me and you spoke about this before we started. I watched the game last night. They are rapid, by the way. They are rapid. And they get themselves...
I can't handle losing to Dick Advocaat again, Martin. I'm still scarred for the fact that he beat us in the UEFA Cup final in 2000.
Yeah, I know.
And Fernando, I mean, come on.
That's one of Dick Advocaat's greatest regrets, I think. Has been the Zenit manager at that time. But listen, Kenny, final word to you, mate. Fair play to Dick Advocaat. 78 years old, still managing, albeit in a tropical island.
The funny thing is, obviously, I keep forgetting that my boy's only 12 and has hardly seen any of the history of Rangers apart from videos. And he's stunning walking up and down in Sky Sports, Dick. And I went, oh my God, it's a little general. And my boy's looking about with somebody with a green uniform on. And
I've not been taught that in history class yet.
I'm going, and he's like to me, was he in the army and that? I says, no. I had to explain what was going on. But see, just to change the subject very quickly, where does Steve McLaren go now? He's bailed out every single job he's ever had. Who does he manage?
Hopefully Celtic, Kenny. Hopefully Celtic.
It's ridiculous, isn't it? And do you know, as bad as failing with the football side of things, he's also failed on the accent side of things as well.
He disappointed me. I was waiting on him doing it, and he never done it. The Jamaican.
It's all fun and games to laugh at Steve McLaren, right? And I have the biggest laughs up in the Wally with a Brawley and all the rest of it. The last England manager, he failed to qualify for a tournament. How that's possible, I don't know, but he did. But of course, I had to suffer and endure a Steve McLaren tenure, obviously, at Newcastle, which was absolutely horrific and ended with us being relegated to the fucking Premier League that season. So it's all fun and games until he's sitting there in your dugout and all of a sudden...
Nothing should cheer you up. Nothing should cheer you up more than Steve McLaren's Dutch accent. Yeah, if you're having a bad day, if you're not feeling quite with it, just go onto YouTube and type in Steve McLaren Dutch accent. And I swear to God...
Was it Joey Barton French one?
Joey Barton's French accent, aye. I mean, it just makes you feel so much better about yourself. But listen, folks, that will do us for tonight. My thanks to Connor and Kenny for jumping on. I'm back tonight at 7 p.m. with a live Q&A over on the Rangers Rabble membership page. If you're not a member, then click the link in the description. The YouTube, we're always live. Patreon, it's re-uploaded after it's been live if you prefer just to listen back while you're out walking the dog or walking by Connor's house, because do you know who he is? That's unfortunate. He gets a lot of unwanted attention, does our Connor. Can't even walk to the shops. He's that famous. That's the unfortunate thing. But if you want to help support independent Rangers media, greatly appreciated. If not, please just make sure you hit that like and make sure that you're subscribed to the channel. It really does help. Thank you for Andrew and the gifted memberships tonight as well. It really does help the channel along. Connor, thank you. Kenny, thank you. And we will speak to you all very soon.